And I'm in a habit of forgetting all kinds of stuff now. I don't know what it is, but this week has been terrible. Huh? Comes with age. You don't even remember 57. All right, page 32. When the roll is caught up yonder. Is this up too loud? Seems like it is. Maybe stand back farther. I don't know. Here we go. When the trumpet of the Lord shall sound, then time shall be no more, and the morning breaks eternal, bright and fair. When the saved of earth shall gather over on the other shore, and the roll is called up yonder, I'll be there. When the roll is called up yonder, 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 I'll be there. On that bright and cloudless morning, when the dead in Christ shall rise, and the glory of his resurrection share, when his chosen ones shall gather to their home beyond the skies, and the roll is called up yonder, I'll be there. When the roll is called up yonder, 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 I'll be there. Let us labor for the Master from the dawn till setting sun. Let us talk of all his wondrous love and care. Then when all of life is over and our work on earth is done, and the roll is called up yonder, I'll be there. When the roll is called up yonder, 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 I'll be there. Maybe have a seat. Let's go, Lord, in prayer. Does anybody have a spoken prayer, please? Pray for those who are sick with COVID, and we know those who are sick. There's our cousins, Kim and her husband, and kids, and one of the children, and some kids on the football team, and the coach out here at Sissonville. And so it's in our community now, though it hadn't been. I mean, it's been in the state for, well, 6 or 8 months. We don't know exactly how long, but it's finally got to Sissonville. Well, we've always been a little bit behind. There's still people here that have 8-track players in their cars, and so we're just a little bit slow. We're catching on to stuff, so it's all right. So pray for those who are sick and those who are trying to avoid the sickness, okay? Anybody else? A request? Spoken request? Any unspoken request? Something you want to pray about? Not mentioned that now? All right, Charlie, release prayer. Amen. Look at the book of Esther. We're going to the book of Esther there tonight. The book of Esther. I think I said a couple weeks ago, we're chronologically going through. We're going through the book of Judges and First and Second Samuel and all the kings, and we went into Daniel. And I want to look at the book of Esther for a couple of weeks. When the children of Israel were carried away into captivity, where did they go? What nation came and got them? Do you remember? Babylon, right? Babylon. Nebuchadnezzar was the king. And then the Persians took over the next empire after Nebuchadnezzar, the Babylonian Empire. The next empire was the Medo-Persian Empire, and that's where this story takes place. About the same time, probably. I think it's while Daniel's still alive, but something else is going on within the kingdom. Okay, I'm going to read quite a bit of chapter 1. Before we get into this, I want to look at something with America. How we compare this to America. Okay, when Israel got in trouble, they were carried away into captivity. They lost their nation, basically completely lost their nation. God left a remnant there, and sent a few people there as a remnant, and He took some people away and brought them back. But the number one thing that they lost, besides their walk with God, is they lost their history. Israel completely turned their backs on God, and they turned their backs completely on the history of their nation, where they came from, how they were born in slavery, or how they come out of Egypt. And they completely forgot that, but they didn't teach it in their schools or in their houses, and nobody knew what had happened. And there was some people, like a remnant of people, that would know, but for the most part, they forgot all about the history of what God had done for them. I think we're in the same condition tonight in America, where we're just completely destroying our history, tearing down not just the statues, but all the principles that we've been guided by for the last 1492 since Columbus came, which is now, Columbus is a bad word. I guess Columbus, Ohio is going to change the name of the city to Flavortown or something like that. It's ridiculous what's going on. But to me, it's ridiculous what's going on. But it has to do with politics, and it has to do with completely erasing our history. Okay? Is anybody proud of your personal history, your family, your heritage, where they came from, and what they've done? I'm kind of proud of our history and military service and farming and businesses and everything. I kind of like our history. I like our history of our nation, where we came from, what we stood for, and all the battles we fought for freedom for ourselves and for other people, different things. But we want to put all that aside because it's offensive to people. Okay, so we're not going to teach on that. But what happened in Israel is what's happening in America today. Okay, we're destroying our history. Esther chapter 1. I'm going to read quite a bit tonight. I want to read the whole chapter, but I'm going to skip around just a few verses here and there. Okay. Now it came to pass in the days of Ahasuerus, this is Ahasuerus which reigned from India even to Ethiopia over 127 provinces, that in those days when the king Ahasuerus sat on the throne of his kingdom, which was in Shushan the palace, in the 3rd year of his reign, he made a feast unto all his princes and his servants, and the power of the Persian Media, and the nobles of the princes of provinces being before him. When he showed the riches of his glorious kingdom, the honor of his excellent majesty, many days, even 180 days. Stop reading right there. We're going to go right into this. Look this way. So this man has been king over. He rules from Ethiopia to. I'm looking at it backwards. Okay, when I'm looking at it, I'll say from Ethiopia to India, but on your side of it, you're looking at from India all the way across the Middle East, over into North Africa and Ethiopia. Okay, so he rules over all of that. He's the king of all this land. All those kingdoms have submitted to him. Okay, they submitted to Nebuchadnezzar. Now he's taken over from Nebuchadnezzar with a different empire, and they've all submitted to him. So he has, after 3 years, he has a parade basically that lasts for 6 months, 180 days, and he parades everyone through and says, "This is all my riches and all my wealth, and this is what our kingdom has, and this is what we've done." So I would assume that in that he has brought people, 127 provinces. He brought people from different sections and brought them through with the goods that they provided for their kingdom. Okay, but that's not enough. Okay, so after 6 months of the big parade stuff going on, he has a 7-day feast and a party. Okay, we're going to start reading again. Verse 5. When these days were expired, the king made a feast on all the people that were present in Shushan the palace, both in the great and small, 7 days in the court of the gardens of the king's palace. We're going to read about the different colors, but they had it really dolled up real nice. Verse 7. And they gave them drink in vessels of gold, and the vessels being diverse one from another, royal wine in abundance according to the state of the king, and the drinking was according to the law. None did compel, for so the king had appointed to all the officers of his house that they should do according to every man's pleasure. That means they didn't have to drink a lot. They could drink it, but they could drink as much as they want to. Also Vashti, the queen, this is Ahasuerus' wife, Vashti. Also Vashti, the queen, made a feast for the woman in the royal house, which belonged to the king Ahasuerus. On the 7th day, when the heart of the king was merry with wine, he commanded Merman, Biztha, Harbona, Bigtha, and Abagtha. I don't know how to pronounce these names, but these guys were in the 3rd grade before they spelled their names. Zethar and Carcass, the 7 chamberlains that served in the presence of Ahasuerus the king, to bring Vashti the queen before the king with the crown royal. That's not a drink, by the way. With the crown on her head, to show the people and the princess her beauty, for she was fair to look on. So stop reading right there. Look this way. So he has a big parade. He has a feast that goes on for a week, and he's merry with wine. He's had a lot of wine, and he said he's got 7 chamberlains, and he sends them out. And he said, "Go get Vashti and bring her in." She's had a party for herself for all the ladies over in the palace, and he's out like in the garden area. And so he said, "Have Vashti come through. We want to show her how beautiful she is." And she must have been a very pretty lady, but she refused to come. Okay, why? Why did she refuse to come? I don't know. Maybe because they've been drinking for 7 days and she didn't want to go in there where they were at. I don't know. Maybe because she didn't think that she was having something. I'm doing my own thing over here. I'm not going to come where you are. A lot of wives do that. Maybe she didn't realize that everything she had was because of him. Okay, she was a queen. She got to display everything in her house, but everything she had was because he was the king, and she doesn't acknowledge that. Maybe there's all different reasons for that, but I'm not sure why she didn't come. But it bothered the king and his servants and his counselors that are with him. And they said, "What should we do?" Once he commanded for her to come, and she didn't come, okay, because he's the king. Now word's going to get out throughout all the 127 provinces, throughout all the nations, that the queen did not come when the king called for her. Okay? And the king's counselors are there with him. No doubt they've been drinking as much as he has. And they said, "This won't do. Now all the women will disobey their husbands. If the queen does not obey the king, then all the women in the whole kingdom will disobey their husbands, and that just is not going to do." Okay? How do you agree with that statement? How do you think? Okay. How do you think? Let's back up. How do you think the women should obey their husbands? Okay. How do you think if the women do not obey their husbands, and it's made known that the rest of the women won't obey their husbands? What do you mean obedient, like a slave obeys somebody? Um, we preach on this all the time. Men are supposed to be leaders, not dictators. There's a difference between the two, right? Pharaoh drove his men into the Red Sea, and they all drowned. Moses led his through, and they all survived, right? So we know the difference between dictator and leadership. Okay. But there's sometimes, as in this instance, when the king said, I commanded her to come. Well, she could have had her reasons not to come. Okay? If she's drinking as much as she could. If she was drinking as much as he had, maybe she couldn't walk in there. I don't know. I think all these thoughts go through my head of what possibilities were. Okay? Okay. Look down verse 19, read a couple more verses. Okay? Verse 18 says, Likewise shall the ladies of Persia meet us this day unto all the king's princes which have heard of the deed of the queen. Thus shall there arise too much contempt and wrath. It means all the women in the nation will hold contempt towards their husbands and not going to obey it. If it please the king, verse 19. This is his counselors talking to him. If it please the king, let there go a royal commandment from him, and let it be written among the laws of the Medes and Persians. That means the laws can't be changed, that be not altered, that Vashti come no more before the king Ahasuerus, and let the king give her royal estate unto another that is better than she. And when king's decree, which shall be published throughout all his empire, for it is great, all the wives shall give their husbands honor, both great and small. And saying pleased the king, the princess and the king did according to the words of Memucan. So how do you think if a king makes a decree? Okay, we know the story. Vashti wouldn't come in for whatever reason. She wouldn't come in where the king was, and he banished her. She would never see me again. Okay. I don't know if she missed him or anybody, but he said she would never come in my presence again. And that law went out. And he made it a law that Vashti would never come. And he made it a law so that all the women would know that if they disobeyed their husbands, how do you think wives obeying their husbands should be guaranteed by law? Come on, Charlie. Charlie was kind of wishy-washy. His hand would kind of went like this the first time. Should be guaranteed by law. Some women have bad husbands. There was a lady that came to church here years ago. The preacher was preaching. He preached on a text about women obeying their husbands. Okay? And she got mad. She left. She never came back. I went to visit in the home. I didn't know what she got mad over. I just, they quit coming, so I went to see her. And she was. I went to the house. There were several people at the house. And I went there and I said, him to come and then just checking, make sure everything's okay. Then if y'all sick or whatever, she said, we won't be back. Okay. And I said, why? Because what your preacher preaches. He preached salvation by grace. Started going through the list. Don't be this, don't be that. It was all back then. What was he preach that you won't be back for it? He said, women should obey their husbands. Well, it's scriptural, right? It's in there. All right, children obey your parents, and women obey your husbands. Husbands supposed to give honor to the wife as to the weaker vessel. When you look at one, when you pull out one verse, you should pull out the other verse too. About husbands supposed to treat their wives. And she said, my husband was an idiot. He was a reprobate. I said, you married him. But she started through this list, and she was adamant about, I can't ever come back to church. She hasn't been now, she passed away. But she for the last 10 years of her life, she would not come to church, go to church anywhere, unless she could find a church that had a woman preacher somewhere, or a different doctrine on this matter. Because she said, he should never preach that. He said, I just preach message all the time. I never thought that he was preaching that men should go home and beat their wives, beat them into submission or anything like that. She was convinced that that's what it meant. Okay, she was that the doctrine of women obey your husbands is like husband should be a slave driver. Any man in this room think husband should be a slave driver? Come on, this is recorded. Say yes. Say amen. No. Charlie said no. It's on. I think he didn't say it loud enough for the microphone to pick it up. Okay. Men cannot rule by decree. They got leave. Okay. Yeah, and I think it's often almost every household that I see falls apart. If the man is going the right direction, says come with me, the wife and kids tend to follow along. Almost every man that says follow me because the Bible says you have to, he is not going anywhere. Okay, if he says you have to obey me, you have to follow me, here's the scripture for it, that'd be great if he's going somewhere. He's doing something. But the men that say, okay, how many of you taught your children obey your parents in the Lord, for this is right? Did you teach that verse? We taught that verse to Rebecca, right? Does Josiah know that verse yet? He will. Well, one of his verse one is supposed to memorize. He knows the principle. That's all that matters. Okay. But if they have to obey, because it is a principle that you say you have to obey me instead of leading them, right? And there's a world of difference between the two, right? Whether you talk about your husbands and wives, or talk about parents with the children. Okay, Josiah's probably going to get in a lot of trouble because he follows his dad, right? He already knows how to lock up the four-wheeler, right? It's like Jerry's telling me, he lock up the four-wheeler and turn sideways and make it slide down the road, right? Is that basically what it does? We shouldn't put that on the internet, but that's the way it's supposed to be written, correct? Right? So there's things he's going to do. I mean, the first week he had, he took up on the bank, right? It's just it doesn't scare him. Okay, there's things but he's going to follow your example. And there's something wrong with that? No. The A-frame of his swing set thing, there's one little place that he can squeeze through from the platform to the swing set. So here's a platform here. On this end, like if this is the platform, on this end of it is the swing set coming up, and there's a little place he squeezed through that was standing on that edge, looking at the trapeze bar. Okay? He didn't make it. Okay? Banged his head. He didn't get hurt, right? He's all right. He got up, dusted himself off. He's okay, right? But he looked at it and says, I can jump out there and grab hold of that trapeze bar. Where did he learn that from? The Tarzan movie or something? What's that? Jungle Book? He watched Mowgli and Jungle Book, said I can do this too. You know, I can jump to the trapeze bar and swing out to the little rope and grab it. Okay. I mean, looks like, is there anything wrong with that? Nope, nothing at all. But if there's a decree that says, you can't do something, he's going to push that law. But if his leadership says, come on, we'll do it this way, we'll do it this way, we'll do it this way, we'll just go, okay, he's going to have a great life. Okay. There was a man in my neighborhood when I was a kid growing up, was a lawyer. Everybody, all the kids remember him yelling at his kids constantly. I think he drank a lot. His boys, which are my age and older, end up in trouble and dead. Two or three, I think, end up dead before they're 25 years old. And all I could ever remember is anger and yelling coming from that man's mouth. Okay, all the time. Outside didn't matter. Didn't matter if all the kids were playing ball and he wanted to just interrupt yell at one of his kids. He would let him have it. Okay. I don't know if they wanted to please him. Right? That's not leadership. Okay. I think about the other dads in my neighborhood as a kid growing up, or my uncles that I watched pretty closely as a kid growing up. All the kids wanted to please what they did. Why? Because they were just leading. Come on, we're doing this way. Okay, let's do the right thing. Come on, let's do the right thing. Let's do the right thing and do it. Okay. In the book of Esther, we could look at why Vashti didn't come in or whatever she was doing. We could look at the rules and all that stuff. But the biggest part of this story is God is moving Esther to be the queen. He's got to remove Vashti and send the king on a search for a new queen. He's allowed Ahasuerus to have the kingdom, but he's got to work on Ahasuerus' heart. Okay? And remember, for months we talked about Daniel, and God worked on the hearts of all of his kings, like Nebuchadnezzar, and we write in part of Scripture. God worked on the hearts of all those men that are in authority by having Daniel in their presence. And in this instance, he's not going to send a Daniel in.
God's going to send an Esther in. Now, who is she? She's an orphan girl raised by her cousin, and a very beautiful orphan girl raised by her cousin, and she's going to become queen, going to change the king's heart in the story, later on in the story. Okay, God has a plan. Okay. Wrote a couple things down. We're almost done. The decisions and consequences of other people's decisions often present opportunities for Christians to serve, for God to shine through them, a reflection of them. Think of all the moving parts in the world, right? Whether it's biology, you think of the moving parts of something, or it's like the sun, moon, stars, that part of it, or if you look at the climate, or business, or society, or politics, just like the politics are in disarray today, and our society's been turned upside down today, I think God is setting up something for somebody to step up and lead, okay? And just like in Esther's day, Daniel's day, doesn't matter who it is, God always is setting the table for him to do something, okay? For God to do something to reach people's hearts, to reach people's lives. When I listen, I don't watch it on TV. I don't want to watch it on TV. Some people, I had a customer there. They pulled a couple things on my phone. I want you to see this because he knows I don't watch TV. I listen to the radio, but I don't watch the TV at the house. I don't have time for it. Okay. He said, we're meeting the other day. He said, I just want you to see this. Okay. So he showed me a couple things. Okay. I watched it. People send us stuff, send us YouTube videos. I want you to watch this thing. When I watch all that's going on in our nation today, the desecration of the history, not just taking down the statues, but taking down the statutes, the principles that build our nation. God knows all this stuff, but I think God is leading and has a plan. I know God has a plan to work all this out. Okay, God knows all, and He's about to move to do something. We just don't know what He's doing. Okay. Next thing I think of, like in Esther's case, Mordecai's case, and everybody's involved in this story with that Vashti, and the Bible says, and everything give thanks. We can't always see what he's doing, but he knows he's working everything for our good. According to scriptures, he works all things to our good. Okay? We don't know what the end result is, and we may not like what's going on at the time, but he works everything up for our good. If that's the case, then we can trust him. Take every opportunity he gives us to serve. Okay? To be a reflection of him. Whether it's job opportunities or work opportunities or witness opportunities, whatever it is, service should be a main key. When Esther steps into the picture, she steps in as a beautiful lady, but she steps in with a servant's heart. We'll read that in a couple of weeks, okay? That's an opportunity because of consequences of others. You may get questions. Who's the king in this story? Ahasuerus. Very good. What's the queen's name? First queen. Vashti. What kingdom are we talking about? Medo-Persian Empire. It reigns from where to where? Here to there. And here to there and back. Okay? Where's it go? Wait, Canada to what? Mexico, is this you said? India to Ethiopia. All right? How long was the party? How long was the parade that the king had going on? He reigned for 3 years at this point. The parade only lasted for 6 months. But the party lasted for a week. Okay? Okay. God is moving. God is moving in this story because it's called Esther, and at this point, at the first chapter, we've never even read of Esther or Mordecai or anybody else. It's just that God's setting up the story of what was going to happen. Okay? God always has a plan. And just like in our lives, we can't see what's going to happen. God always has a plan. You ever get in a situation where you don't know what you're going to do next, right? Job losses and different things or whatever's going on in life. He said, I don't know what I'm going to do next. And we always trust him for the outcome because he always knows what he has planned. He just doesn't tell us what the plan is. Okay? All right. Questions? You answered my questions pretty good. The other people on that. All right. Jared, do you dismiss us? Thanks for coming out tonight.